And just as we saw in Baltimore and Washington, ACORN always seems to have the answers on how to skirt the law. Let's take a look at this.
You earn X amount of dollars, find another name.
Find another name for...
And don't say that you're prostituting or whatever.
Well, what do you recommend we say? That's what we've been struggling with. Don't say we're a prostitute. What are we going to call it? I don't know what to call it. She walks into an office like this, and as you can see, it's not very classy. It's not a good thing to be around.
God, so when she comes back the next time, she can wear a skirt.
Well, she's been working since you just got off work. What, like an hour ago? I mean, she's working. She just got off work. You know what I mean? So
you have to sit back and think and find another name for it. You come up with 3 different ideas, okay? So when you come back and say, look, these are my ideas, and we may, be able to identify, say, this sounds better.
And I'm joined now by Andrew Breitbart of BigGovernment.com and Hannah Giles, who played the prostitute in those videos. All right, don't take this the wrong way. It's really a compliment. You are the last person, and James O'Keefe is the last guy, at least convincing people to play these positions, but this has now happened in 3 separate instances. Yeah. This is serious stuff.
Yeah, there's a pattern, and I think it came in with the acting, and we knew what we were going into. We studied ACORN. We didn't know about them before we came up with the idea, really, and then we studied them, and we learned what they're about. So the way we approached them was what got it. We said we were in a unique line of business in New York. As soon as we said that, we were pulled into a separate room, bypassing all the people in the waiting room.
Yeah, but now we've gone over the...
You're fast-tracked. Into the prostitution stain room.
Well, and Andrew, I want to get to the Pew Research study, which shows the media is at the lowest approval ratings that they've had. But this is beyond... We're talking about an underage prostitution ring, and they're telling you how to break the law.
Illegal immigrants from El Salvador.
Yeah, underage.
Right. Everything.
Underage.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And this latest one from Brooklyn shows the transfer of a house ownership. Don't be honest. They went through a very specific, hide what you do for a living. Now, the thing that's amazing to people in my emails that I'm reading, the government, we give them all this money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what did you know about because you came up with this idea? What did you didn't know much about ACORN?
I didn't know much about the housing. I knew about the voter fraud just based on what I knew on the news and the election. And when I found out that there was an ACORN housing, I was just like, my goodness, this is why we're in the foreclosure crisis and the mortgage crisis, and let's study. There's obviously bad things going on in these houses.
And they told you to bury money, cash in a tin in your backyard?
Yeah, imagine that. Everyone's suffering and looking for a loan, and they tell us, and we're going through all these financial problems, and they're telling me to bury funds in the backyard so that the government or my pimp can't come steal the money.
And by the way, and he is the least convincing pimp that I would think in the world, but he pulled it. You guys pulled it off and did a great job. Andrew, one of the things, the Pew Research, 2/3 of America doesn't trust the media anymore. Where is the investigative journalism? It takes a 20-year-old girl, Hannah here, James O'Keefe is 25, 25-year-old young man, to do this. And there's, we now have 3 nights in a row where new video from other cities. Where's the media?
We're at day 5 here of the mainstream media ignoring this story, and it comes on the heels of the Van Jones controversy, where the analogy I would use is Kirk Gibson hit the home run in the 9th inning, but there weren't innings 1 through 8. Van Jones was fired at 9 o'clock in the evening and became an AP News alert, the standard of this is big news. Yeah. How can it be big news if it didn't happen? And this is repeating itself this week with the Senate voting 83-7 to defund the housing part of ACORN, with the Census.
A lot of money from the
Census Bureau could not have been bigger after day 2, because they set the trap was set for them to lie, to blame the messenger. They studied Alinsky perfectly. They knew that if they dropped one, that they would start attacking them and impugning their motives. It worked perfectly.
All right, the latest is you mentioned the Senate vote, which I think is a big first step. Senator Vitter has called to defund ACORN. ACORN, by the way, at this very moment is on track to get more money from the stimulus, but also they've requested more money from the stimulus recently for the Commerce Department, and House Republicans want an IRS audit. So where do we go from here? What would you like to see happen?
I'd like to see them completely defunded. I'd like to see all future funds, cut. And it's absurd. There's no way we need to be paying for this kind of activity. It just shows, how deeply corrupt they are.
Yeah. Well, what gave you the idea? You just said you were jogging and you had heard about ACORN and corruption and you wanted to just look into, so then you investigated?
Yeah, so about 6 weeks of preparation time from when I came up with the idea to when we actually put into play, printing things up, understanding how they work, seeing how easy it is for them to circle this instead.
Is there more? I asked you this the last time and you were very coy, and there was a lot more coming. Is there more coming, Andrew?
Some would call it journalism, by the way.
Yeah, I would.
At 20 years old, and it's unbelievable. And let me tell you, I've never been more proud of two people in my entire life.
I agree with you.
They have been impugned in the media. They've been they trotted out.
Excoriated.
They trotted out on CNN Clinton-era apologist Joe Conason to try and impugn these people, to impugn their motives. Is there something else? I knew that you wanted to ask that one. Okay, fine. Let's just state it. Yes, absolutely.
There is more coming.
Yes, and tomorrow's is devastating.
So there's something big coming tomorrow.
Absolutely.
The day after?
Maybe.
Maybe not.
So this is, at some point, every congressman and senator has to say, do we defund them? Because this is now.
Do you know a single person in your life, or somebody who knows a person, that would sit there while that scenario is being played out? Do you know a pair of people that wouldn't look at each other and say, what's going on here? How come so far we have 7 people who haven't once said, what's wrong with this?
Let me say, we're going to continue to follow this. Hannah, you have taught the media lesson. You should be very proud. Andrew, you have always been a brave, pioneer in journalism, and same with James O'Keefe. Thank you guys, and we're going to continue to follow the story. Come back and let us know the latest.
Thank you, Sean.